All right. Hope you guys had a great spring break, whatever that means these days. I'm going to walk you through the appropriate responses to this. You'll have some questions to answer. And this should be a good recap of what we had been doing and before we get into the next chapter. All right. So you guys had to do some participle charts. Here we go with the present participle. It's the first principal part. Same stem that you see right here. And it's got the ens entis, the third declension. Typical way of showing a word, it translates as fighting. All right, and then we'll go to the perfect participle, which is the fourth principal part. In the listing, it's got the UM, but that's only for neuter. Typically, you would list it in all of its genders. And it translates as having been fought. All right, get a pause. All right, and the future participle. Take the fourth principal part and you add the UR and the typical asaum ending. And in its pure form, about to fight is a fine translation. Whoop. And then the future passive participle, which is a tricky one, you go back to the first principal part and you add this nd asaum, meaning that it's a first, second declension adjective. And also, in its regular form, translates as to be fought or about to be fought. But this particular form is used in a couple different ways in the language. All right. So, and then yakio, you guys had a couple issues with yakio because it's an IO verb. You do the I as part of the stem, then you do the ENS. Of course, the genitive would be entis, meaning it's a third declension adjective. Throwing. All right. And then the fourth principal part, yak. Yaktus. All right, and then take the fourth principal part again, take the stem, add the UR, about to throw. The future active participle almost always translates this way. The future passive participle, known as the gerundive, rarely translates the way that we put it in the chart, which about to be or to be thrown. All right, let's go to the section 2 was ablative absolutes. All right. So an ablative absolute is a noun and a participle in the ablative case. It should all translate as with. So instead of typing them, I'm just going to read them out. Servo pulso. And this is the most common type of ablative absolute where you have A noun, servo, in the ablative case, O is ablative, so with the servant. And then you have a participle. Pulso is from pello, the verb to strike or hit. So with the servant having been hit. You can tell it's the having been participle because it is just the fourth principal part of the verb. Pulso comes from just the fourth principal part of pello. Right? There's no addition to the word like ens, entis. All right. So with the servant having been hit, and then we just continue with the daughter having been loved, with the commander or general or emperor having been sought. And then I switched here to the NT participle, the present participle, with the servant laughing. All right, so it's a different participle. You got the present participle being used here in the ablative case. Third declension, present participles use third declension endings. So with the servant laughing, with the mother loving. Here I switch to the plural with the servant telling a story. And you can add like a direct object. That's why this noun for story is in the accusative case. The AM is accusative with the servants telling, present participle NT, the servants telling a story. And then I switch back to just a regular ablative absolute with a perfect participle with the students having been taught. And here it just went all over the place to see if you guys could follow what's going on with the students having been taught. Number 8, with the teachers laughing. All right, you got the NT right here. Number 9, with the wounds having been received. And that's the fourth principal part of that verb, which was on this chapter's vocab list. With the wounds having been received. And number 10, excuse me, with Carthage having been laughed at. All right, here we go with the passive periphrastic. All of these feature the future passive participle, which in the chart we say is about to be, but it has other uses that occur in the language. Right? It doesn't always translate as about to be. So when you add the verb to be to it, in the present tense, est is the present tense of to be, creates must be. So I'll type out a few of these and then I'll just read the rest. But he, and the reason I said he is because of the US ending here, which is a masculine ending on the participle. He must be struck or hit. All right. And literally he is about to be hit, which in English, we kind of create this necessity that he must be struck or he must be hit. All right. And then in number 2, you can make it past tense. Arat is the imperfect tense of to be. We're going to do she because the participle ends in A. So it's a feminine ending. She had to be, and then amo is the verb to love. So she had to be loved. All right. And then number 3, Here you have the UM ending. As you can see, I did all the different genders for 1, 2, and 3, and all different tenses of the verb to be. So number 3, faciendum erit, UM would create it. It will have to be made or done. All right, and then here, the verb to be is in the future tense, and it would translate as will have to be. So you get all 3 different tenses of the passive periphrastic translation. The most common by far is must be, but you can change it to the past with had to be, or you can make it future with will have to be. All right, then let's just go through the rest. Number 4, the story est is present, so the story must be told. Number 5, your mother, and then erit is future. So just like in number 3, your mother will have to be loved. Number 6, the student's son is present. So I look at that. The students must be taught. All right. So yeah, the students must be taught. The commander had to be killed. Erat is in the past, so had to be. The Carthage must be destroyed. Classic phrase. Carthage must be destroyed. Perfugium, shelter. Shelter will have to be found. All right. Erit, future tense. The shelter will have to be found. And fabula redenda est. The story must be laughed at. All right. Let's go to the sentences. Okay, putting everything together, give you guys a little bit of help. The stories of Carthage, all right, plural. A lot of you guys are forgetting that things can be plural. Fabuli, nominative plural. The stories of Carthage must be taught by the teacher. I would also accept to the teacher here, but by the teacher. The stories of Carthage must be taught by the teacher. Number 2, ablative absolute. You can see the ablative endings, is, with the students having been taught. Everyone was not foolish or stupid. All right. With the students having been taught, everyone was not foolish. There's no passive periphrastic here. It's just a regular main sentence. Everyone around was not foolish. All right. Number 3, with the wife of Caesar having been divorced. That's your most basic ablative absolute. Repudiata is from the verb to reject or divorce. And with wife of Caesar having been divorced, a new wife had to be found. So you got the both constructions here. You can see the ND here. You always want to look for the ND and the verb to be. And that here creates had to be. A new wife had to be found. All right, number 4, a new world, novus mundus, a new world will have to be made by you or for you. I would take that too. A new world will have to be made by you, which is probably true. All right, number 5, with the students learning, and some of you guys were able to get where I was going here. Apud can mean at or among. And then Wheela is a home or a country home. So with the students learning at home, patience. And then here's your passive periphrastic. Ostendenda est. Patience must be shown by all. All right, so with the students learning at home, patience must be shown by all, which is true. And I miss you guys tremendously, and I hope you all doing well. Hope you understand, some of this, if not all of it. And can't wait to teach you in person, hopefully soon. All right. Take care.